Today we're going to check out two heavyweight telephoto zoom lenses, perfect for birds and wildlife. First of all, we've got the Nikon 100-400. I own this lens since it came out in 2021. This guy's about 1.44 kilos and it's costing about $2,900 US. Then we've got the new guy, the Sony 100-400. This is a constant f4.5. This guy is about 400 grams heavier at 1.84 kilos. And this one's about 50% more expensive at $4,300 US. Let's see what the difference, $1,400, 5 years of tech, and that extra 2/3 of a stop makes between these lenses, testing them out real world, side by side, here at the Bird Park. Whether you're a Sony E shooter or a Nikon Z shooter, check out my expert setup guides. I have them for each of the systems. It takes you through the entire range of cameras, all of the different menu options, and how to set them up for your style of shooting. Full details below. So the 100-400 Nikkor, I've shot with this a lot. I'm so familiar with it. It does extend quite a bit and that does change the the balance of the lens, but you get used to it. It's got the nice little LED screen, plenty of different custom function buttons. It's small, it's light. You do lose 2/3 of a stop as you zoom to the long end, but you can still get some really nice images off this with a nice soft background. I've actually shot with this one extensively all around the world. Take a look at some of the images. The Sony is having a couple more rounded aperture blades. It's significantly bigger, but you don't lose any light as you go from 100-400, and the lens doesn't extend. So potentially more sealed and less balancing issues on this guy. And I have to say, considering the size difference, the weight difference isn't that much. Actually, when you hold them in the hand, they feel about the same, just maybe your mind's playing tricks on you and it feels like this one should be heavier. This feels light, given its size. The other big difference, this guy is a 77mm front filter thread and the Sony has rear drop-in filters. Now, I only really shot with this a couple of times on the Sony A7R6. Let's take a look at those images. So they're both producing beautiful images, but they're on different systems. So now let's mount them both on Nikon Zs in matching settings and try and get some comparable shots of the same little birdies so you can really see the difference of these guys throughout the focal range. Both of these really should tilt, because unless you're using it on another head, you have to do that with your monopod. This one has that tilt ability. I think they both need it. Feedback for Havey. Taking a look at them in compare module, you can see there's just an obvious difference. Bringing up the details there. On the left, that is the Sony. On the right is the Nikon. The Nikon is much cooler, the Sony is much warmer, but it's not a settings difference. Take a look at the white balance settings over here. The Sony is at 5413. All the other camera settings the same, whereas the Nikon is 53 and 14. So a slight difference, but it doesn't explain that huge difference. Let's just do this simply. If I take a custom white balance off its head, it's saying that the Nikon is around 5500 and the Sony is about 5000, but that's still not accurate. Actually, the Sony wants to come back to about 46 and the Nikon up to about 56. And they're comparing them, they're much, much closer, but it's probably still even warmer on the Sony. So about 1000 Kelvin temperature difference between the two lenses at the same settings. Let's just talk about the build of these two lenses a little bit. Of course, there is a 50% price increase to go to the Sony. If you were to talk about lenses in that SABC tier ranking system, a lot of people would have tried kit lenses, variable aperture lenses, f4 zooms and f1.8 primes. That's kind of BCD gear. Then when you get up to A tier, that tends to be like your 1.2 primes and your 2.8 zooms. But once you get to like a 400mm f2.8, those super tele zooms, or even a 200 f2, there's some kind of special sauce that goes into them. They're S tier. They're just a level above. Now, if I were to classify these, I would say in terms of build and how they are in the hand, that, to be honest, the Nikon is like a A- or a B+ that over-delivers. It really over-delivers. There's nothing outstanding about it in terms of build quality. It doesn't feel as exciting as like a 1.2 prime. So I would call it like, yeah, an A- or a B+. But the images you get from it and the performance isn't wow, but it absolutely gets the job done. It's a great B cam when I'm shooting with my 400 2.8 to have more flexibility. So I would say it's like a B++. Whereas with the Sony, it feels like a baby kind of slightly cut back version of an S tier lens, like an S-. It's got a lot of the finishing and feel and overall vibe, if that's the right word, of an S tier lens, but it's a baby version. It's not quite at that 400 2.8 kind of level. It's still a 4.5, but it handles and it performs beautifully. It's just how's the image quality gonna differ? And I just noticed black finish, white finish, you can really notice the bird shit a lot more on the white finish. So look, clearly this is not a focus or an overall comparison because I'm using one of them adapted to a non-native body. We're really just talking about image quality. I can tell you, however, having shot the Sony on the A7R6, that I would say it probably has an edge in autofocus, and that extra 2/3 of a stop does help at the long end. But both of them really do get the job done. Bigger, heavier, much more expensive. Smaller, lighter, but variable aperture. Download the sample files, check them out for yourself, and let me know which one appeals to you. I'm certainly impressed to see how well the Sony works on the Nikon bodies, and I think they're both fantastic, versatile lenses, especially if you're into birding and wildlife. Let me know your thoughts below.